If you can't go left, you can always try right. If you can't go right, you can always try forward. But no matter what you do, we'll always create a memory because you are special.
Hello and welcome to RBV, the Milestone Whisperers. I'm your host, Dr. Rashida, and welcome to another podcast episode where we discuss milestones and the journeys to get to them. So it's been a while since I recorded an episode, and it's mainly just life has been busy. I have a busy household, so getting a good time down to record these has been a little bit of a challenge, but I'm here today. And also, this time of year is a little bit tough for me, the holiday time. So I have some notes today because I want to stay on track. And I just want to make sure that I am thorough in what I want to speak about. And today's milestone that I would like to discuss is basically about dealing with grief, especially during the holidays. So it's not really a milestone that you accomplish. Grief is something that is a journey. So this topic is what this podcast is all about, because we don't only discuss the milestones, but what's more important is the journeys to get to those milestones. So I guess basically, like, grief for me is something that is up and down. Sometimes it could feel so recent that I lost my father, and then other times it's vague, the day that he passed away. So the holidays are definitely a tough time, and I know it's a tough time for other people out there that have lost loved ones, especially during the holiday time, or even if you lost your loved one during the holiday time, like me and my family did. But nevertheless, I love the holiday time. We just celebrated Thanksgiving. That is my favorite holiday. We had a lot of food. We are pescatarian, so it's not a traditional Thanksgiving course. And it wouldn't be anyway, because my kids don't seem to like Thanksgiving food. Turkey and any of that stuff they didn't like anyway, when we ate lamb meat. But yeah, we had a really nice Thanksgiving. It was just nice to relax and just be with family. So I have a whole outline of things that I want to talk about, and I'm probably going to go off track. So if you see me glancing down, it's just to keep me on track. However, I want this to be more authentic, so it's not like a script or anything like that, but it's just for me to stay on track. So with that being said, yeah, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, but it also is a segue into the Christmas season. And I've talked about losing my father the week before Christmas back in 1997. So that is 28 years, coming up on 28 years that I've been without my father, that we've been without my father. There's a lot of us. So I always say that I'm the oldest because I'm the oldest of my mom and my dad's 4 children. But my dad had other children as well. So I have half siblings, mainly sisters, but I have brothers as well, that's older than me. And the holidays are tough because coming up, I wasn't raised with them. So they were significantly older than me, old enough to be my parents, because my dad was older. But also I have like nieces and nephews that's like the same age as me. Some are even a little bit older than me. So that's a cool family dynamic, but um, we aren't close, unfortunately. We've never been close. We have reconciled um, to the best that we could, but it's not traditional sister relationships or sister brother relationships that I have with my siblings, that I have with my that are my full siblings, because they're my brother and my two sisters that are under me, that were born to my mom and dad. Nevertheless, I have a big family. There's a lot of boys out there. My dad had a lot of kids, and part of the traditions that we had within our family unit, with the six of us, because there were four in my house, four kids and then my parents. Part of the tradition that we had was my dad loved a real tree. So we would get a real Christmas tree, usually on Christmas Eve, because my dad waited until the price went down. And he would get like the Christmas tree like on Christmas Eve. But we loved it because we would spend the time decorating it as a family. My dad was a baker. I said that before, but we would bake cookies usually, or either get store bought cookies, or cook cookies from the bakery. But he liked to have the cookies that he didn't make, because I mean, he was Santa Claus, So we would leave out cookies and milk for Santa, and then like the four of us will wake up like way early in the morning before it even got dark out, to open our presents. And it was always so magical, just the way that Christmas was, because even though I think I believed in Santa Claus, I was like 10, y'all, so that was a long time. But even though Santa Claus isn't real, but just the whole essence of like going to sleep and there's no gifts under the tree, and then waking up and like there's gifts under there, that is such a beautiful memory for me. And that's what I go to when I'm grieving the loss of my father. It's those memories from Christmas, even though he passed away the week before Christmas, but the memories of Christmas and how he would guess every gift. That was his thing. My dad would guess every gift: birthday gifts, Father's Day, Christmas. He would shake it and he would like feel it for how much it weighed, and he would always guess the gifts. I remember one year we got him. I don't know if it was for Christmas though, but it was a box of money, and my dad had a gambling problem, so he played lottery all the time. So money was something that he spent a lot. But it probably wasn't Christmas. I think it was a birthday present. But that was the one thing that we got him with, because money is light, so he couldn't figure out what it was, but it was a box of money, and he just loved that. Christmas time to me is not real Christmas time until I hear Silent Night by the Temptations. That version is what gets me in the Christmas spirit. And sometimes I don't hear it on the radio. I have to like go and play it myself to get me in the spirit. But sometimes I do just happen to hear it on the radio, like after Thanksgiving, but before we're super close to Christmas, and I'm like, that's my dad talking to me. My dad had a really deep voice, like Melvin from The Temptations. So that's why that song reminds me of him. And it just gets me into that mood. So the holiday time is hard for people that have lost loved ones. A couple months ago, well, actually not even a couple months ago, in October, I lost a family member. We lost a family member. A cousin of mine passed away. So this holiday season is especially tough for our family because that is so fresh. But just trying to still enjoy the season, having a joyful season is something that's important to us as a family, not just my family unit that I live with, but also my extended family. It's hard though. And some of the things that I've done to cope or to grieve is to give myself grace. So some days, even though it's been 28 years since I lost my dad, it hasn't been even 2 months since my cousin passed away. But I try to honor their memories. My dad, like I said, he would guess every gift. Our trees always look crazy. We would get all the different types of ornaments and just like put them on the tree, like people these days have like themes, so they have color themes and things like that. But our trees were like everything you could think of, all the garland, all the tinsel, all the balls, all the, all the things. So this year, because we usually, in my house, we usually have an artificial tree. We had one real tree, and I think it was when our oldest was a baby. So the kids never had a real tree. We've had an artificial tree. But this year, I convinced my husband to get a real tree. So I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I wanted to have a certain color scheme for the tree. So my favorite color is red, hence my red walls. This is the red room in my house. And this is where the Christmas tree is, but I would not be showing it because it looks crazy. But it kind of looks like it did when I was growing up. So like the first day that we got the tree, my daughter and I decorated it, red and green balls on there. And I just wanted the red and green theme. I didn't want garland. We do have lights, but I didn't want a whole bunch of craziness. I just wanted like red and green clusters of balls, nice and uniform on the tree, lights, a star at the top, and that's the tree. But y'all have met my daughter. If you haven't, go back a couple episodes, go back to the first few episodes because she makes her debut in those episodes, but she had other things in mind. So she wanted to put single balls where I wanted clusters of balls. So that was the first thing that changed the tree. And then my mother-in-law, who, bless her heart, she saw that it was, that I left like the other color balls just inside the red room. And she's home by herself a lot, or she's home like, she has downtime when we're in and out. Because I'm in and out with work, but like when the kids are at school and stuff. So she took all the balls, all the garland, all the things and put it on the tree. The tree it reminds me, at first I was like, it looks crazy. And I just said a couple minutes ago, that looks crazy. But the tree reminds me, now that I think about it, it reminds me of when we would decorate the tree when I was little. And all of us would put our decorations and it looked like if you splatter paint on the wall, that's basically what the tree looks like. But it kind of brought back those memories. So initially I was a little bit like, my tree looks crazy. They ruined the tree. I want a real tree, but I wanted it to be like a certain way. But I let go of that because it's helping me breathe and, go into this season where I do get sad a little bit with a smile because it reminds me of childhood and my dad and our family traditions. So some other ways that my family and I have, meaning my mom and my brother and my sisters and our children and everything, have tried to make the Christmas season more joyous, more joyful, and not harp on the sadness, is we do like a dirty Santa. So we do that. We usually meet either anywhere between like Christmas Eve or sometimes like a couple days before Christmas. But last year we had all the little kids decorate cupcakes. So I baked them because it would have been too much to have them all. We have like a lot of like smaller kids. So instead of having them actually bake the cupcakes, I baked them, but they decorated them. So that was something that, like my mom, because my mom used to help decorate inside the bakery too, decorate the cakes. Well, write on the cakes. My dad decorated them, but she would write on the cakes. So she helped the kids with that, like decorating. So we made like the bags with the icing, and they decorated it, and they just loved it. And it was such a beautiful experience, and we're gonna do it even bigger this year. We have games and prizes and all those things. So definitely looking forward to that. But I wanted to just come on here as a way to relate to some people that may be struggling, especially those with recent losses. And like I said, I have had a recent loss in my family, where this may be the first holiday that you're spending without your loved one. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to want to be by yourself sometimes. It really is. It's hard. It really is hard to be happy when you're missing those special people, and then reality sets in that you don't have them. But I'm here to tell you that it gets easier, even though sometimes it's fresh. Sometimes it feels so fresh. But it does get easier. One thing with grief comes sometimes resentment. Sometimes there's anger. I know with some people in my family that I'm not going to say they speak ill of my father, but they may not have these same joyful memories of him, because they think about like some of the things that he did that weren't necessarily great. But I'm here to tell you that people make mistakes, and resentment and anger towards people, especially those that have left this earth, is not something that is good for your grief. It's not something that's good for your joy. Just bottom line. Like I said, I don't have a close relationship with my siblings that my dad had. His children, his older children. It's been years and years since I've seen them, but we're connected on social media, and some things that they did, I'm not going to go into it, but I forgave them for. I will only hope that they forgave, not necessarily me, because I didn't do anything to anyone, but maybe my mom, or maybe my dad, or other family members. Hopefully they find it in their hearts to forgive as well, because forgiveness and all those feelings just makes grieving worse. It makes it harder. It makes finding joy harder. So forgiveness is something that, excuse me, goes hand in hand with grief, in my opinion. Excuse me. Yeah. So let's see. Anything else? I feel like I went through these pretty quickly. Like I said, it's no real timeline on when you don't cry on the holidays or don't feel sad or don't want to partake in the festivities. Excuse me. I'm coming down with something, I think. I don't know. But trust me, it does get easier. Some years can be harder than others. Like this year is especially a little bit more tough because there's a recent loss in my family, but we are pushing through. We are going to have joy, but also give each other grace, give each other time to grieve and to heal and to remember, have fond memories of those that aren't here with us anymore. So yes, that's what this podcast is about. It's about grief and overcoming the grief during the holiday time. Sometimes you're not even really overcoming it. You're still going through it. I believe that grief is a journey, a lifelong journey. But there's ease at times. And sometimes and at one point, the ease will be longer. It will feel easier. So for any of you that's out there that's dealing with a loss, and this time of year is particularly tough for you, I'm sending hugs. I'm sending happy thoughts, peace, and just, joy. And I hope that it gets easier for you. And from the bottom of my heart, have a wonderful holiday season. Have a joyful new year. 2025 has been a year, but 2026, we're manifesting it. We're claiming it. 2026 is going to be a good year. So on that note, thank you for watching. Don't forget to do all the things, social media, follow me, RBV, the Milestone Whisperers. RBV Physical Development is my professional PT page. My Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, my YouTube, all those, find me there, share, even comment if this resonated with you, or if you would like to hear about more ways to deal with your grief. I'm by no means an expert, but or any other topics that you would like to hear about, please leave me a comment. Please, that helps me to guide things to talk about. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.